Yeah, it was a lot of fun racing there. You know, it was a longer race than normal, I think, for the truck series. So, and we got to run a lot of green flag laps through the middle portions of the race. So that was a lot of fun. And then, yeah, there were some varying strategies going on there at the end. We had a really great truck and was able to kind of pick my way forward there, those final 20. And then you get to Bubba and just be patient behind him. I knew I was a lot better than him, but I obviously knew he was going to race hard to try and keep the lead. So, yeah, it was fun battling him there for a minute. And then we had that green-white checkered and just was focused on getting a good launch and not washing up too much into 1 and 2. And was able to do that and get clear out in front by a couple of truck lengths and get to the white and then the checkered. So it was fun. And thanks to Spire Motorsports and Bono and everybody on that team, it was I didn't know what to expect, I knew the truck field was going to be really tough this weekend, and they prepared a great piece. So, huge hats off to them.
Kyle, just kind of curious, you kind of had Carson Hocevar as a teammate this weekend, and I'm wondering, what have you seen of his maturity since you started working over there?
What?
Aren't you running with the Nice guys on the weekends in the truck? Sorry.
I was in a Spire truck.
Spire, sorry. My bad. But what
No,
did
you're
you
good.
What'd you see? He kept calling you teammate and working with him, and that's why it was.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know if there was some sort of connection there.
Maybe just the Chevy stuff. I honestly haven't seen him too much, in the gym or whatever this year. I don't know what time he comes in, but yeah, I think he definitely has a lot of maturing to do. It seems in the truck series, but I feel like he's gotten to a point where he knows that, and I was impressed with his interviews last week after Darlington, when he got spun and was able to rebound to a good finish and still gave a good interview. So, I think he is a mature person, and I think he's got a ton of talent. So he did a great job in that Xfinity car last week. He was my toughest competition today. So I think if he can put it all together, he's got the potential. So, but everybody's young and everybody's learning, and he's learning just like everyone.
Thank you. Sorry for the confusion.
No, you're good. Yeah, I was confused.
All right, we'll go back to Jeff Birchfield.
Kyle, this is like the 6th different type of race car in the last 2 months where you've won races in. What is it about you that you're able to adapt to the different vehicles so quickly?
Yeah, no, that's really cool. It kind of dawned on me up there that I've won in. I thought it was 5 or 6. So I think it really comes down to driving great race cars. You have to drive a great race car to have a shot to win. So there's that. But I don't know. I just have a lot of experience doing it, and I don't have to think about it quite that much anymore about driving style stuff. It kind of just it's easy to adapt, and as long as your race car is good and handling the way you need it to. So I'm very fortunate in that aspect to be able to race for great car owners, great crew chiefs, and get to sharing the success with them.
All right, we're going to come up front and go to Bob and then Jordan.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. This counts as your availability for us overall, so I wanted to ask you about going to Indy last week. I had 2. The first is, did it make it any more real that it's happening?
Yeah, I think so. I think yes, but also no. It's still so far away that it truly doesn't seem real. I think until I get in the car on the ground and fire an engine up, and then I think I'm gonna be scared. So, but right now it doesn't seem super real. But I've been trying to pay attention as much as possible.
And is there anything that you saw from being kind of embedded with the team for a day that clicked in your head as far as hey, I need to focus on this or need to do this over the next 6 to 12 months?
Not yet. There was. I think there's so much track time during this, these couple weeks that they kind of just are taking their time. So I didn't really get much out of listening on the radio. I also don't know anything about a race car either. So when they're naming off changes that they're making, I can't process that. But just I went to the spotter stand, kind of got to see how runs form, lines, where people downshift and stuff like that in the corners. And I think too, just little stuff like I didn't know that they had hospitality like that, for drivers to hang out in, to get food and stuff like that. So just seeing all that stuff too was nice to, I think have an idea of going next year, like what to expect on that sense. And, hearing that drivers stay, even though they live in Indiana, stay in their motorhomes every day at the track, like just stuff like that, just little things that you probably don't even think of, more so outside of the driving part. So I think I'll worry more about the driving and what that takes once it gets closer to me actually driving, but trying to figure out where I'm sleeping and stuff like that is more important.
More important than worrying about going too
Yeah, they're crazy. I guess I'll be crazy too.
All right, Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. What was the conversation with Ross like on Monday?
It was short and to the point, and just move forward. I think for both of us.
What did you think about? I'm presuming you heard, but what did you think of Rick's comments Sunday night after the race about Chastain and kind of his aggressiveness and everything?
I don't know. It's good when your owner has your back and your support, but quickly as possible after last week.
Is it, three of the last four races you've had run-ins with Ross, did it just kind of hit like a breaking point last week of just this is continually happen and you just hit your point?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how to answer that. It's just gotten a little frustrating as far as it could be anybody. Anybody out there. It's just got frustrating that we haven't gotten the results that we deserved the last few weeks.
All right, we're going to go Jerry, then Mark.
Jerry Jordan, Kicking the Tires.net. This is going to be obviously a historic win. So for you, where does this rank on your wins list to come back to North Wilkesboro for NASCAR and get this and knock this off?
Yeah, I think it's extremely special. I didn't ever think that I would step foot on this facility to even have the need to look at it. I've driven by it a few times, but never thought that I would race here for sure. And getting the chance to race here after Marcus Smith and everybody at SMI took a big shot to revive the place was neat. So seeing the crowd today. I didn't know either. I didn't grow up pavement racing, so I wasn't watching, races when I was 4 years old either. So I didn't know how victory lane worked. I didn't even know that you ride this like elevator up. So I thought, that's honestly probably the coolest victory lane I've ever been in. That was neat. The trophy's really cool. The surface you can tell, it's old and a lot of, all the legends basically have raced here. So. To be on the winners list is special. Even though it's in the truck series, it's still really special. So to say where it ranks, I don't know, but it's definitely up there for sure. But yeah, I think if I could win tomorrow night, then it'd be it would march its way forward for sure.
And also during the race, I saw you dropping down, coming through 1 and 2, and you were kind of hitting the pavement on the inner banking or something right there with, I guess, the apron. Did that help you get to the front? Is that going to help you tomorrow?
It helped me lap people in the truck race. I could get pointed and get some traction down there and just allow me to get position on them into 3. I don't think the Cup car likes that, so. Just the way the rub blocks and just the suspension. It didn't seem like yesterday whenever you would, I could see people in front of me touch the apron and it would want to spin them out. So I don't think that you'll be able to use it quite as much in the Cup car, but I'm sure everybody noticed today that's in the going to be in the Cup races later on, and I'm sure we'll try some sort of something probably in 3 and 4, and then if it's working over there, maybe potentially you'd see somebody try it in 1 and 2, but. I just don't foresee it working like it did in the truck. I think the ride heights are just so much higher, it seems, anyways, that in a truck you can kind of run across the apron like that.
All right, we're going to go to Mark and then Jeff Gluck in the back. Go ahead, Mark.
Mark Garrow, PRN, over here on your left, or your right, I guess. You won the 600 back in 21. How big of a race is that to win, and how important is it for a driver to knock off one of the big crown jewel races?
Yeah, I mean the 600 is definitely one of the biggest races we get to compete in every year. So that was so cool to win that race in 21. The trophies are awesome. The Coke vintage refurbished refrigerators are amazing, so beautiful. The trophy itself for the 600 is cool. You get a ring, you get all this extra stuff. It's a special race, and it's a tough race to finish. So when you can win and conquer a race like that, it's pretty special. So our cars have been really good. We almost won that race last year. I feel like our car is way better this year. So we had a great test there not long ago, and I expect we'll be fast, but nothing, wins aren't easy to come by, so we'll see. We'll just have to work hard.
And my other question is a follow-up to the IndyCar thing that you were talking about. You race a lot of cars where the speed, the sensation of speed is like off the charts. The IndyCar speeds, what do you think of those, and having the chance to sit in something that will go that fast?
I was watching qualifying, right before the truck race, and I'm like, holy shit, they're going 242 into turn one. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. So, and then you got guys that are like almost crashing. It's thankfully, hopefully next year they're still handling good, but the McLaren stuff looks really strong this year. So it seemed like the drivers were really happy in practice when I was there the other day. So I hope it's the same next year, and it's not easy to drive, but it doesn't look sketchy as sketchy for them. So, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. I think once I get in it, it will be less nerve-wracking, probably less of a sensation than I probably, the commentators do such a good job of like making it sound like they're on the edge, but I think once you get in it, there'll be a little less of that, hopefully, but we'll see.
All right, Jeff.
Kyle, what's your transportation plan for tomorrow? What's the strategy on getting here?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to helicopter. So they're supposed to pick me up tonight, barring weather. I haven't heard. I think it's supposed to rain later, so I may end up having to stay the night. But I've got a boss. He's got some aircrafts, and it's pretty nice. So they've been doing a lot of drop-offs for a lot of us, Hendrick, drivers and executives and stuff. So we're very, very, very fortunate for that.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to come up front, and we'll go to Greg.
Hello. I just need to get because I got to record this. Kind of picking up on what Jerry was talking about in terms of, this being a special place and stuff. You're the first NASCAR winner here since Jeff Gordon, which is kind of cool. Is that a big deal to you, stuff like that, or being the first winner at something in the modern times? Is that kind of a big deal to you?
Well, it's not something I think about while I'm out there. But then when I hear things mentioned in here or whatever, then yeah, I think it you realize the specialness of it. So yeah, I mean I could give you the same answer. I don't think any of us thought that we would ever race here. So to win a NASCAR national tour race at North Wilkesboro is crazy to think about. So I mean the scoreboard too, it still had like the finishing order of that race in '96, and then I thought they were just going to leave it like that, and then I actually noticed during the race they were like keeping up to date with what we had going on. So they've done a great job of like touching on the history this week, and it's been cool to see.
And confirming that was the first time you've ever been raised up to a victory lane on hydraulics.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think Bristol's the only other one like you're up on top of something. So yeah, it's cool.
They do that at the Indy 500.
Well, obviously I've not done that. So I hope it's my second one next year.
All right, Steve, go ahead.
Steve Post Motor Racing Network. Kyle, when Mark asked you about winning the Coca-Cola 600 next week at Charlotte, can you and what that meant to you, can you describe the endurance factor of that, preparation for that, because it is a 600-mile race, and how you prepare for it and how you manage the race over the course of it?
Yeah, I think physically it's not any tougher than any other race. Mentally, I would say it's got its differences for sure. You know, I think you look at our race last year. You know, I was mentally beat before we got to the second stage, and you know, thankfully, you know, Cliff had you know, a good pep talk there and helped me realize that we still have a long ways to go. And our second half of the race was way better than the first half, and ultimately had a great shot to win there at the end. So I think just keeping your head in the game, really, at all of these next-gen races, it's not even just the 600, but I think, you know, the 600, you're never out of it. So, you know, even when you make a mistake, get in the wall, like, you're not out of it. So just staying focused and you know, having some drive to overcome whatever obstacle you had 80 laps ago is important.
All right, we're going to come up front to Kelly, then we're going to go to Davey, Chris Knight, and we'll end with Daniel McFadden.
Kelly Crown of Racer.com. Kyle, the pit wall at the exit of pit road in turn 1, how conscious of that do you have to be going down in that corner? Because it seems like everybody can get real close to that, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're every lap. You're trying to get as close as you can to it without obviously hitting it. So, yeah, I mean, it's something like when you go in there, you're like, oh, that was close that time. So, yeah, you're trying to get close to it. But I'm surprised it hasn't really ate anybody up yet. You know, I think there was like one scuff mark on it at some point in that truck race. So, yeah, but I'm surprised nobody's gotten it yet. Because it feels like it's just out on the racetrack, basically.
And then just on this weekend in general, whenever NASCAR does something new, like the Clash or the Bristol Dirt, there's always the talk of what will make it a success. The fact that NASCAR and Speedway Motorsports just even got back to this racetrack, is this weekend just a success regardless of what happens on the racetrack?
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's already been a success. I think even going back to last year and the races that they had here last year, I think that made all of it a success. So I'm excited to kind of get through this weekend. Not get through this weekend, but like see what improvements come for the following year and what they do. I think they were pressed on time to get a lot of this stuff ready for this weekend's race. So I think more time and you know, listening to the fans and teams and competitors, I think we can continue to make this event bigger and better, and I'm sure it's going to be a great race too. So they've done a great job to this point, so I think it's for sure been a success already.
All right, Davey, go ahead.
Davey Siegel with SiriusXM. We couldn't really see on pit road, but were the fans booing you because you didn't want to do a burnout?
They were booing Bubba.
Oh.
Poor Bubba. I feel bad.
On the fans, just did you get a sense of it being a more intimate environment, kind of being closer to them? And it was obviously a packed house today as well.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. You know, obviously the crowd was big. For a truck series race was awesome. So, yeah, I mean, under yellows, you know, I was just, you glance at the crowd every weekend, but I was, you know, looking around and stuff, and there's like fans flipping me off like halfway through the race. I'm like, I haven't even done anything yet. It's, yeah, then you have other fans that are like cheering you on and all that. So it's like, it's really cool. You know, it kind of, for me, like, I'm not comparing this to Bowman Gray, but like, you know, Bowman Gray, you have crazy fans like that. So it was cool to see the passion up there. And yeah, I think when they're so close to the track, you feel it. So like, yeah, I mean, I'm cruising around, you know, after the checkered, and I could like hear them over the engine. So it was, they were into it, and I think they're ready to go for seeing some Cup cars race.
All right, Chris, go ahead.
Chris Knight, GettyImages.com. Kyle, cycling back to Indy for a second, what was it like learning the lingo of IndyCar? And because the worlds are completely different, how much time will it take you to learn everything that they're trying to explain as you prepare for Indy next year?
Yeah, I literally still do not know what the different, like, I couldn't tell you what understeer and oversteer is. I don't know the difference between them. So they're going to have to get used to me, I think, talking about loose and tight. And then, two, I think, Indy, I was asking them, like, what are the lap times? Because it's all in, mile per hour average or whatever. And nothing I've ever raced is like that. So, like, it's hard for me to know, what the lap time difference is between a 2:30.6 versus a 2:30.2 lap. So, I would like to see more lap time stuff. I think when I get in and go back, but yeah, it's definitely different. The drivers are from different countries and all that, so there's that. But I look forward to it. I think putting yourself in different situations or different environments is great, and it helps you grow as a driver, as a person, and as everything. So I really look forward to the opportunity to get behind the wheel and get to May of 2024. I think it's going to be such a cool experience for not only myself but my family, Rick Hendrick, Jeff Gordon, everybody involved. I think the sport of NASCAR, I think is going to pay attention even more to the Indy 500. So I know I'm going to have a lot of support, and that's going to be something that I look forward to.
What was the atmosphere like with Felix, Alexander, and Pato?
What's that?
What was the atmosphere like with Felix Rosenqvist, Pato O'Ward, and Alexander Rossi?
Well, they were kind of in the cars the whole time. So I went in and I got to check out like their engineering meeting before testing got started, and you kind of go around and everybody talks about what kind of changes they've made overnight, what they plan on doing throughout the day if everything goes according to plan. So I just kind of stayed back, really. I was kind of just like a fly on the wall for the majority of the day, and got to talk to them all though, in between some runs, just more catching up and talking a little bit, but I don't really, like I've said, I don't want to pick people's brains yet. I don't even know I'm getting in the car. So once it gets closer to that, I know I'm going to have the support from all of them, as well as anybody else who's got experience that I feel like will be beneficial to talk to. So, but I don't want to overstep my boundaries, way before I have to get in a car.
All right, Daniel, thanks for being patient. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Daniel McFadden, frontstretch.com. First, going off Davey's question, when you're out there giving your front stretch interview and the crowd's increasingly egging you on to do a burnout, do you feel pressure to give them a good one?
Well, I gave them something. I just didn't know, like, I didn't want to tear up their truck, or, I didn't know how much tread was left on the tires. I didn't want to tear anything up. I don't know when their next race is. I don't know how the rules work with the engines, if they have to run that again. So I was more having respect for the equipment that I was in, because in the Cup Series you can blow your shit apart, but in the truck I just don't know. I just didn't know the rules and stuff, and when they're racing again, so I didn't want to mess anything up for them.
All right, Kyle.
So I'm sorry if you guys are all disappointed I didn't do a burnout.